Aloha friends, we have not talked in over a year. Like a lot. A ridiculous amount of things have changed. Let's catch up. First of all, I'm sitting in Phoenix, family house on the porch. I have to have a fan because apparently, I don't know if this is like Bill Gates or some shit, but we have mosquitoes. It's rude. What? After my last video, like within weeks, I'm just gonna hit this like in a timeline period so we can just catch up and get over it really fast. Soon after that video was filmed, saying I was back home for Christmas, I found out I was pregnant with my boyfriend at the time. About 11 days later, my mom had 2 strokes, and so I flew to Nashville. She's okay now. They give you like an anticoagulant or something, or whatever the anti-stroke medication is. She had an allergic reaction, which is like 3% of people. Anyway, literally God intervened because the nurse did his calculation wrong, and he was supposed to check her in 30 minutes, but his wrong calculation had him check her at 15, and he caught that her brain was bleeding. Anyway, they fixed it. I'm sleeping in the hospital for New Year's and the whole deal, and then on July 9th, I flew back to Chile to be with my boyfriend at the time, and I had a miscarriage on the flight because, of course, stress, not eating. Anyway, miscarriage on a red eye. I land. We decided to keep it a secret because his kids and I don't know. So basically I went through the whole miscarriage thing, like isolated, no one speaking English by myself. He probably could have been a bit better with all of that. We just started unraveling. I realized as a result of the miscarriage that like I was not making myself a priority, which is very unattractive and inappropriate. So I went back to Bali to make ponchos. When I got back to Chile, it just started to unravel further. I ended up getting a job in Costa Rica, so I went back to Costa Rica, and he was visiting, and I just realized like I wanted to build a life with someone. Like the whole idea that like he would visit every, 10 days, every 4 to 6 weeks. I was like, that's 10% of the year for someone I want to build a life with. Like that, and have kids and get married and all of that, like that's not gonna work. So we broke up in November. December I come home for Christmas, and I found out that my dad has been taking Ozempic. His doctor gave him, an 84-year-old man, Ozempic. So he had lost 100 pounds in 5 months and was completely emaciated. And so I just didn't leave, and he passed in January of this year. So now I live in Phoenix. Guys, like what the actual fuck? Now I live in Phoenix, and I just was like, yeah, I'll be homeowner president too. So I'm the homeowner association president here. I mean, mainly because with everything that was going on, it was like, these fights cannot be that big of a deal. But it's Melrose Place, but with like an old folks home. It's hilarious. Okay, so that has been a year since we last spoke. Oh yeah, and then the house renovation is a whole other shenanigan, people. Like, there was a hole in the balcony that had been there for like 4 or 5 years. I told him about it, and he was like, I don't care. And then I told him about the garage was like peeling down, bubbling and whatever. He's like, I'm leaving that for you to fix. I'm like, I found out there was a gold digger. I'm like, Dad, you're not that rich. This activity is not for you. Anyway, so I was going through credit card bills, finding out, all kinds of things. She went to Hawaii, and so I called Chase, and I was like, I think there's fraud. And they're like, sorry, you're not on the account. And I'm like, ma'am, my dad is not buying P-Volve and going to XYZ places in Hawaii. I started renovations on the house. I found out he had 4 levels of tar and gravel on the roof. And listen, he did not leave money for the renovations. But I'm like, if there is a hole in the balcony, I know that there is holes up in other places. Let's seal this bitch up. and then cross the deal with like the inside. So I know light's leaking in like my room. So they were fixing that. I fixed the balcony, but the doors, the demo guys, I didn't know they were demo guys. I got a reference from a friend of mine who is a general contractor. And this guy was just like, oh yeah, I can build doors for you. And I was like, can you? He's like, oh yeah, I've built a few things for like the guy, our mutual friend. And I was like, okay. The minute I saw when he bought, I was like, I just have a feeling. I slept on it and I was like, I think we're good. You don't need to do this. I'm gonna find a carpenter for that. Carpenter can't start until later. And so now I have plywood over my windows, French door. So basically it looks like I'm living in a meth lab. And last piece is the moon cycle was in the right place and it aligned with my caffeine intake, and so I ripped out all the carpet. So I'm walking around on concrete floors. Except upstairs I'm walking around on plywood. You guys, I used to live on like beaches and go surfing. Make clothes. What's going on?